How are you doing?
Fine. This kind of, as I told a little bit at the beginning, this kind of situation for me is always strange
Mm. Oh, yeah?
to to be speaking in front of people.
Oh, I see, I see. Okay, so let's start with the very beginning, right? Pretty much the very same questions that I make to every single person. Uh, Not that we interviewed many so far, but that's the protocol, which is I'd like you to introduce yourself. Like, what's your name? Where you're from? How old are you? What is your belt?
Okay. My name is Guilherme Arrais. I'm from Santa Maria, in the south of Brazil. I'm 31 years old right now, just a few days ago. And what else, Master?
Like
Adrian,
your
yeah.
your 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 basic introduction, right? Like you said you're from Brazil, but you in Spain right now, right?
Yes,
Okay, so we can say that you are one of the masters responsible for Pa-Kua in Spain, correct?
exactly. It's like
Exactly.
6 years ago right now,
6 years so
from
far.
6 years ago.
Cool.
Yes.
Nice, nice. Okay, so I want to go to the part that what a Brazilian is doing in Spain, but with Pa-Kua in that point, because we have a Brazilian in Canada. But let's start with the beginning, right? So when you start to practice, like for how long are you practicing?
In exactly 9 days, I completed 12 years of practice.
12 years.
June
Nice.
9, 2008.
And which belt are you right now?
Right now, I'm a fourth degree in PaKua knowledge, black belt, fourth degree black belt.
And in which discipline you started? What is your first discipline or
The first was martial art.
martial art?
Yes.
And
And yeah, the first was martial art, but I think very soon started another ones.
so you started with martial art, and then which other disciplines like you join kind of like right away?
It was in the 1 month later, I
Yeah.
started edge weapons and acrobatics.
So like very young disciplines, like very active.
Totally.
Totally.
And at the beginning, I never talked about the therapeutic part at the
Yeah.
beginning.
Well, both of us, I'm not gonna lie, right? But and why you started. So what made you go to the school? What you were seeking at the time as like a person, like, oh, okay, like I I'm looking for this and maybe this place called Pa-Kua, this weird name that everybody mentioned in the beginning. What made you come to the school first?
Since I was very little, actually, I always I liked martial arts and movies, video games, followed everything that was possible in that moment. I practiced other martial arts since I was 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. So I always liked this. But for a long time, it was not possible for me to practice. And one day, suddenly, a friend come to talk with me that he received a flyer from the PaKua School and invited me to go with him because they don't wanted to go alone. And when I saw that flyer, I saw the three things: martial arts, weapons, and acrobatics. That was the three things that I was looking for,
Mm-hmm.
but I never found them everything together. So it was the first time, and then okay, I need to try this.
And why this pillar, like acrobatics, martial art, and edged weapons? Because of course we know that the concept of like pop culture behind or uh, the idea of like being like fascinating because of like movies or something. But why specifically like those three disciplines? Because we have like rhythm, we have, which is a martial art class with music. Uh, you said that you were not really interested in the therapeutic classes in the beginning, but why those practices and not even like a different martial art? Like maybe one of the martial arts that you practiced when you were a kid, for example.
Mainly, inside the school first, I started by these disciplines because was simply it's come my attention. It's okay. I like the idea of practicing something to improve my body, to learn some techniques, some movements. In that very first moment, really was because it was cool, because I liked the idea simply. And not the others. It's a little bit because of way I thought at the beginning. I was looking for something that have different things. And well, I practiced karate when I was little and a little bit more later, capoeira, but they have just one of the aspects that I was looking for. So it was really the PaKua School was the first one, at least near my house or in the city, that I found these three things that I would like to know more about.
Cool. And what made you stay in the school?
Oh, was this was very it's very interesting because since from the first classes I felt very well. All the people inside the classes. I was a white belt, just starting, few weeks, few months, and everyone come to talk with me, have very good environment, even the higher degrees of the city. So it was a little bit shocking because we are not used to this idea, mostly because of the higher degrees having contact with you that's just starting. And also the environment inside the classes was fantastic.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so it's interesting, right? Because we hear a lot about this. I personally, I don't have any other experiences with other martial arts before PaKua or after, but we hear a lot about this, that a lot of people feel that in PaKua they can go and feel very like welcoming, right? I'm sure a lot of other places also are very welcoming, other styles of martial arts or yoga studios. But this is interesting how is a identity for PaKua, right? Like no matter where you go into a PaKua school, into a PaKua studio, and you're gonna feel welcome. You're gonna feel uh, like like you said, right?
Yeah, you feel very welcome. You feel comfortable since the first moment.
And okay, so martial art, edged weapons, and martial art, edge weapons, and acrobatics was pretty much like your beginning in the practice. And what made you stay was because you felt like well and very like welcome into the space, and the whole, like you said, the whole community, we can say, right, like welcomed you
Yes.
like very well. Okay, so um today, like after, like you said, pretty much we can say like after 12 years, right, you probably learned a lot, not only in terms of movements, practices, exercises, but for sure, like a few personal values of yours changed or built based on your practice in PaKua. I believe we can say that, right?
For sure.
And what do you think? What do you think is like your lifestyle today? Actually, my question is, what do you consider that changed the most in your lifestyle through the years of practice?
For me, I think it's difficult to separate only one thing because for me it was really a great change in many aspects. One of the main ones was the patience. At the beginning, with people, with situation, was very difficult to keep the line, we can say.
Mm-hmm.
And now with the school, I learned a lot to understand people, understand the reasons of the people. So to keep my patience, okay, relax, and let's see, let's understand. And also my lifestyle changed a lot, because when I started the school, I was at the university studying civil engineer, and the first plan was to continue,
Mm-hmm.
but was very stressful. And when I finished the career, started to work, and was 2012, 11, 12, and was very, very stressful. And I was feeling in my body, in my mind, really, really bad in that moment. And the school helped a lot with the practice, with talk with the people, with the masters, companions also. And then one day I did a change. And from that moment, really all my energy, my mind, everything went better.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe these are the two main aspects I can say.
And well, definitely this change, when you say is change to work only with PaKua, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And how was this transition for you to work only with PaKua? Because it's a very different lifestyle, not only in terms of like values, because for sure a lot of people, when they see someone teaching martial art or yoga, they have like expectations, right? And that is, in my opinion at least, is one of the beauties of PaKua, is it's so diversified that you cannot label the person by the discipline or by the age or by anything actually, right? Um, but it's very different going to this role in a deeper way. So how was this change for you to study and work like civil engineer to something like a traditional Chinese knowledge?
Um, was for the first moment was strange, was difficult to choose, because we are not, I at least was not used with the ideas, as you say, to work, to actually to think about this as a work, as a real work. And many people have the same thoughts about. So at the beginning was difficult, because was not sure, didn't know how it was going to be. From some, we can say maybe something secure, like a normal job,
Mm-hmm.
and try and see what happened. At the beginning was a little bit like this, to see what will happen, if it's possible, and to mainly to learn.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting, right? Especially because in PaKua we have our own business, so it's like any other business. When most of the time you are the owner, right? Um, it's definitely different. It's definitely different. I personally I really like to talk about like the entrepreneur aspect of PaKua, but that would go for like a different path of our conversation. Eventually maybe we can explore more about this subject, right? How is to work
Yeah.
with PaKua as like in different perspectives, different opinions. But actually I want to talk to you more about you as a like practitioner, as a student. Today, how do you find yourself? Because you said in the beginning a lot of martial art, acrobatics, and edged weapons. How is Guilherme today as a student, as a practitioner? How's your like your preferences or style, or what side are you tending to go in general? Like is still like those three, or maybe like more like therapeutic eventually?
Yeah, inside the school, actually was in the first year. I practiced only we say the young part, these three disciplines. But after the first year, I was at the school and almost always every day in the school, and started to saw some different disciplines, and it like caught me a little bit the attention. Interesting, some exercises, some movements, and suddenly I wanted to learn more, to see more what the PaKua School had to present, to introduce to me, to teach me. And step by step, I started to practice all the disciplines that the school offers. And nowadays, it's the same. I practice all the disciplines and also some of the courses. Every moment I can, I continue to take lessons with my master, now with the quarantine and the online classes.
Mm-hmm.
And also we have every time the itinerant comes, do class with him to continue this movement of learning. I still have my preference with the martial arts, but also the therapeutic now have a big effect on me, and I
Also,
like a lot this part. And mainly one of the first studies I did, and I like it a lot, with the energy ways, and this is one part that fascinates me.
hmm,
So it's one I study the most right now, a part of martial art.
okay. And look, this is actually one um, one point of the I think the stage of training that you were that, and I sometimes I hear this from my students that they find uh, how can I express this idea? They they find empathy from me to them, even that indirectly, when they see my difficulties in practice, because a lot of times the students project on us, oh, a black belt, a practitioner for, you said yourself, like 12 years. Oh, so probably they can do splits like in the movies. They can kick really high. They can do whatever and everything, right? And I heard about this more than once, actually, from a group of students of mine. Like, oh, I saw you losing your balance a little bit. I felt better. And it was like, oh, really? Why? It's like, because I could see the human aspect of you. It's like, but we all are, right? But again, we're talking about like this like expectation that exists in black belt practitioners, not only in PaKua, in any martial art. It's kind of like invisibles, um, extremely precise and everything. I want to know from you what still today it's a difficulty for you, or what is for you something that you see like that gives me like a hard time, or that thing, kicks my butt when I practice. What is that little thing for you that is still hard today?
This is very easy. Stretching.
Stretching?
My flexibility.
Yeah.
This is for me, is the worst. I learned to like to do, but still is the thing that I have here inside.
Oh yeah. And okay, so flexibility, okay. And how you deal with this, like how you deal with, because you probably at some point you were like, I'm not gonna say confronted, but probably at some point someone uh went to you and said like, but are you not a black belt practitioner in martial art, or even like yoga, right? Like you teach symphony. How can you, as an instructor in this practice or that practice, cannot be as flexible as we imagine? What usually is your interpretation or answer for this question?
Oh, this happens a lot actually, and it depends. Usually, I try to see the person, and sometimes just try to explain about the it's not one limitation that will make you don't go forward in something. So it's not because of my flexibility. Okay, maybe I cannot do a high kick, but I can jump, so I can solve the problem. So I try to look for ways to do. Okay, why it's, you say it's 100% necessary to be very flexible. What's the meaning of this? For sure, I'm searching for, I'm trying to improve this aspect, but why it should stop me?
Oh, I see. I see. Cool. Yeah, yeah. That's definitely something that a lot of times we don't ask ourselves, right? Like, okay, we should do that or we should be like that. But a lot of times we don't make that like 4 years old kid question. But why? Right? What is the point? No, but yeah, it's a very good point of view of yours. Master, you are in Spain. Why? How you from Brazil, you went to Madrid, you said 6 years, pretty much 6 years ago, right?
Okay, it's a, for me was a, I don't know how you say this in English. This is a little problem sometimes, but was many different events altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first moment was when I left the old job. It was as like we were talking before about the engineer. I left the job and planned with all the money I can save it from this. I use it to I use this to do a travel that I always was thinking about through Europe. Was
Oh,
really my dream in that
Euro
moment.
trip.
A
Euro
long
trip.
trip.
Cool.
And it was always my dream. And in that moment, I saw, okay, I was quitting my job, quitting the, like, going out of the old life, and needed some time to breathe and to think, and combined both things. And we came to travel. So by the system, we have the School of the Meetings. I read knew some masters and some people here from Europe that helped me a lot, receive me at the schools, at their houses. So it was a 3-month trip, amazing, very nice experience. And in this trip, I met Master Barbara here in Madrid. And well, we understood very well each other.
You got along.
And get together in a very nice moment.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, so for those that
So,
just sorry to interrupt you, but Master Barbara is the master that represented Spain in the North American gathering this year in March. So she came to Canada, to London, with her mom, and was actually like very nice to have someone from Spain um, at the very first time doing the North American gathering out of US. So the very first time in Canada, and it was quite like a very special moment because we could gather like a lot of people from Europe, North America, South America, right? And was quite in time because just after that, officially, that was the very last event that we had PaKua practitioners together because that was the last weekend before the lockdown, at least here in Canada, right? But but oh, so you guys met together, like
yeah.
got together, and
And well, I needed to went back to Brazil. And at the first moment, well, she went there to live, and to the idea at the beginning was to improve her formation, because she was already thinking about working with PaKua. So she went there we start to live in Porto Alegre at the beginning, to study, to get better, to improve our formation. with this idea of working with the school
Mm-hmm.
and get the idea to open a school in Brazil. But suddenly, the person that moment that was responsible for Madrid went out, and there's no one to lead the school.
Mm-hmm.
And the superior masters, get in contact with her. We spoke, and okay, let's take this crazy trip together. And we came. It's very simple.
Oh, I see. So actually, the point of you going to Madrid and taking over, well, taking the leadership with her for the PaKua School in Madrid was more because of a need and less because of like a project, as you were saying, right? Like you pretty much like you saw the opportunity and you catch it.
Exactly. But the project was to have a school,
But in
but
Brazil.
we are living in Brazil, so the idea was to do in Brazil. But then the things changed a little bit, and so that we not realized it. We concrete the idea in another place, another country.
That's nice. That's a big step. Big step. How was
Very
for
big.
you? How was for you this change from Brazil to Spain? Like culturally, um, personally, professionally.
Yeah, culturally was and sometimes it still is challenging because there's many aspects that are very different from Brazil, but also they have some aspects that are very similar.
Mhm.
So I felt very welcomed here since the first moment, and because they have a very uh, a happy energy
Mhm.
of receiving people that doesn't matter from where you come. So and I felt very well since the first moment when I arrived here in Spain. But the other aspects to learn the culture, to see how to do things, to adapt me to the country, this was the most difficult part. We still have things we are always learning different things, but was is a very nice challenge that is together with me, and also have the point of leaving friends, family, everyone back there in Brazil.
And you're so you with her are working with PaKua, only with PaKua, or you also working with something else besides PaKua in Spain?
I work only with PaKua.
Only with
I
PaKua.
work only with the school. Yes,
And
she have another job to help a little bit, but for me it's just PaKua.
mhm. And how is your position today in PaKua? Like not necessarily like in the school, because a lot of people sometimes know, for example, okay, you move to Madrid and you teach PaKua. Okay, but what is your position today professionally with PaKua? What do you do?
With PaKua in general, not only Madrid. You mean?
Yes.
Okay. Well, inside the PaKua School, we can say maybe like a first step, I'm one of the not the owners of the school in Madrid, together with Master Barbara. We lead the school like side by side because we have each one have its role inside the things we need to do inside the school,
Mm-hmm.
and in a more open way. I work with the like itinerant in some from time to time in different schools here. And from some months ago to now, I started to help also with the administrative part of the European League.
Okay, so you like to be the guy in the chair then.
Kind of.
Kind of. So working with administration and stuff.
Yes.
Okay. And how's this position for you in terms of like a long term? Like, what do you like to become, or where you like to be professionally in the future? We can say, I don't know, like in a few years. So you want to do exactly what you're doing today? You want to change something? You want to expand? You want to move? What is your plans professionally for the near future, let's say?
Yeah, the near future when possible. Uh, I really would like to expand. First moment, the PaKua in Spain, to have some more schools, not only in Madrid, but also in different cities, to take this knowledge, this school to near other people. And also, um, we actually are starting to arrange a few things inside the Madrid school to have more people working with us.
Mm-hmm.
So like side by side with us, and then we can be more calm to invest our time in more for the teaching, for the knowledge, for the people at the end.
So you, by the way that you say, at least sounds like you really like to be in the mat. So would you consider yourself a like mat guy, like mat, a Pa-Kua professional, maybe? Yeah.
Actually, I like two parts. One, as you said, be in the mat, and the other, I really like the administrative work. So this part maybe I don't want to change.
Oh, I see. So what for many is considered boring, it's your passion.
Yes, I always liked this. I always like it. Actually, working with the administrative part was my first job inside the PaKua School,
Oh yeah.
but in a smaller way.
Mm-hmm.
Was before I started to teach. I first worked in the administrative part of the Porto Alegre school. So I can say it was my first job, and I always liked this.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And well, we're talking a lot about Pa-Kua, and well, for many people that don't know, actually, Guilherme started. We're not from the very same. Uh, like we're from the same home state, right? So we're not exact from the same hometown because, like he said, he born in Santa Maria, which is we can say like in the country part of the southeast state in Brazil. But actually, we started in the same school, right? And you said that you started with martial art, but like right away after a month or so, you started edge weapons and acrobatics. And actually, you started acrobatics with me, right? Like
Yes,
I remember our group at the time.
was very nice group.
Yeah, true. Like and still today, like I moved to Canada, you moved to Spain, and but it's still like the acrobatics group and that state is still known for like crazy stuff and advanced trainings as we always like to do, right? But but Master Guilherme and I, we have like a little bit of history together, actually more than a little, I could say, right? Because I was literally there when he started to practice in the same school. Our master is the same master, Master Sergio, and many events like gatherings, trainings, boring meetings like administration stuff, marketing stuff. We shared a lot, a lot of times the mat together,
Many
training,
many weekends
teaching,
at the
right?
school, training and doing things. Saturday, Sunday, morning, afternoon, midnight.
Yes, yes, yes. True, true. Yeah. and it's interesting, right? Because I was talking to Master Lumini the last weekend, and they're like, "Oh yeah, remember when you came to Brazil that time to practice Pa-Kua and expand your knowledge to at some point take over of the teaching in Italy?" And, yeah, that was 8 years ago. I was like, sorry, what? Like, yeah, that was 8 years ago.
Wow.
Damn, that's a long time. That's a long time. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like I find very interesting how even like when the paths goes like different ways, they always go kind of like in parallel, like together, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yes.
But we're talking a lot about like at this point, we talked a lot about the beginning. Now we shared a little bit about this like history that we have together. And for sure, like you said, also, you lived a lot with Pa-Kua, in Pa-Kua. And I'd like you actually to think a little bit and to share with us what was the three most remarkable memories / experiences that you had in Pa-Kua.
Ooh.
I think like three that you can for sure, at least at this point today, you can say like, when I think about those three things, that's it. Come from the top of my mind.
Well, the first, I will try to do it maybe in a timeline. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
it's easier. The first one for sure was my first experience of the open classes, the meeting in December 2008. That was changed from going to the school to my classes to go with a big group from the city and met different persons, instructors, masters from different countries. So for me, that experience was very nice to see the like the family.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this is for sure the first nice and memorable moment. A second one, maybe, yeah, I believe maybe when I reach my first degree, I remember very well the ceremony, the moment, and was very nice because of all the work, all the study that needed to do to achieve, and well, actually the meaning to realize the beginning of something, and actually was also the moment I started to enter more inside the school. And the third one I can say was my travel. My travel through Europe, because was for me in the first moment, but as like I said, I also saw once or twice in open classes different masters from Europe that went to the open classes in December. So from seeing me one, maybe two times, the way they received me at the places, the schools, and to speak with me, to do some classes with them, to show the city. So actually, this was the moment that when I saw what Pa-Kua can be, and was the moment I decided this is what I want for my life.
Yeah, well, it's three definitely big experiences, right? And it's something that you really feel, because some of the experiences that you shared, it's it's a memory that anyone can create, right? By experiencing, um, going to a open classes, right, in Europe or North America, or the biggest one, the international gathering at the in South America, getting to the point to get the black belt. But it's nice that you said that PaKua, and about this, like this third one, it's more than just the obvious, right? It's more than just, oh, practice and getting physically stronger, more patient. It's goes beyond the first layer, or like the obvious, or like we were talking before about the label of the expectations. And it's nice because you also can get involved, right? Like you, like, truth to be told, your wife today came from PaKua at some point, because you two
Yes,
practitioners, you met before of the school, like because of the school, and then you got together because you had um, like goals in common, right? And then both of you like
exactly.
embraced like a big project, which is like move to like a new country, at least for you, because she's from Spain, right?
Yeah, exactly. For me, the
Oh,
change,
okay. Oh, there you are.
for me, the change of country, but
Mhm.
her, she is from here. So was for her was a project in her city, but also a big project.
Yeah, but at some point she moved to Brazil, right? For how long she lived in Brazil with you?
I believe it was almost a year, a little
Almost a
bit
year.
less, like 11 months. Yes,
And she also worked with PaKua in Brazil, right? Like in Porto Alegre, she was taking classes, teaching classes. Still, like today, like people like remember the both of you, remember her. I have some students that um, she used to teach, and then when she moved, I started teaching those students, especially for symphony, for yoga. And until like today, when I speak with those students, uh, the memory and the energy of both of you is still like pretty, even indirectly, it's pretty like alive still. And also have our picture in the board of the black belts, right, of the city. Still have like your face, her face, mine too.
continue there. Yes,
Continue there, right? Like it's cool. It's really cool.
it's
So,
inside. It's impossible to separate from Porto Lake School.
oh, true. Yeah, is one thing that we were talking. I was talking to Master Sergio. He came in itinerancy here in March, and we were talking that even that we left the city didn't like left us. Like in a point that even that we are going for like different countries, we are kind of like an extension of the work that we learned and made there, right? Like besides PaKua, because we're talking a lot about PaKua. Besides PaKua, who you are, what do you like to do? What are you known for besides PaKua? What is your
What?
passions? What? Yeah, I know that it's a huge chunk of your life, but you're more than that, right?
Yeah, I believe so, but I don't know. For me, I have many things that I like outside, but at the end, I always have some connection. Maybe the way to do these things or why to do these things are some kind related. So, like reading books actually was always something I have inside. But one thing I really liked in the last moments was to learn languages,
How many
like
languages do you speak?
to study. Well, we can say four.
Four.
Yes,
Which ones are?
Portuguese, Spanish, English, and Italian.
Cool.
So
Are are you
actually,
studying
this is
anything
the
else?
thing. This is the thing that's is interesting because when I was little and sometime later also, I didn't like it, language. But I started to have this interest and get crazy for this a little bit because of the school with all the travel I did and to speak better with other people. I plan maybe trying to learn Germany, but is a hard way.
Good luck. Best of luck.
And Apart of this, whoa, one of my passions always was the horses, and it's one thing that I try to go sometime. We have one place near Madrid, and it's something I want to learn more deeply, actually, how to deal with all the idea of the contact with them and with the nature, because it's outside the city, so it's amazing.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, so someone made a question for you. Well, the first one is, what would be your suggestion? Of course, actually, this can be like a huge answer, but I would like you to make succinct. What is your tips for those that are opening their own schools right now?
Okay, maybe in few words, don't give up.
Especially now, right?
Doesn't matter what comes in front of you, don't give up. This, I can say it maybe a little bit because of my own experience, where when I was leaving my job and thinking about working with PaKua, so many people around will always that noise. Okay, this will not work. This is not possible. You cannot manage this. Why are you leaving something like engineer? So was a very huge noise, sometimes from people, sometimes from the environment. But don't give up and continue. So this was what really helped me to be here right now.
Cool. Yeah, not give up, because in general it's really hard to have your own business, no matter what it is, right? It's also hard to follow your own dreams, because no matter what you decide to do, you're always gonna hear different opinions. Being really nice to say opinions, right? And also, especially right now. Right now is being really hard for literally every single one, right? Like every single person, every business in the world. So it's being tough in general, right? And the next question for you is, if you, well, that actually you already answered before. If you have another plan, if you have a plan to open another school in Madrid, and well, I'm gonna let you answer again.
We can say that to complete a little bit more, we are on the way. We have already one instructor that is teaching in another place, but it's just a practice space with some of the disciplines. But now I have another instructor that is from the same region, so maybe it's the first. No, it's not seed in this in this way, but maybe it's the first possibility to have a second one here in Madrid.
Oh, cool. Okay, so I'm gonna make my very last question for you, okay? And
come up just a little bit.
No, my question actually it's very simple. Not necessarily easy, but it's a simple question. That is, what is your advice? What is your tips for anyone starting in PaKua right now? What you, as a 12 years practitioner that moved to another country, got involved so deeply into this work, practice, journey, what can you say to those starting now or planning to start?
Yeah, simple but difficult. As always, a little bit of because of my experience, maybe because what I see right now here in Madrid also is to have, by one side, have patience with the learning and with the evolution of the body, the physical part, the technical, the mind. So to have patience with oneself, because I saw many people starting and like in 1 week is already going to do amazing things, incredible things, like jumping 5 meters and things. But uh, it can be, it's possible, but sometimes it can take more time. So first is to have patience and never, as the same as the opening of the school, never give up. You continue, and one day will be possible. Like my stretching, I have the image in the future I will be able to do a total split.
That's cool. That's cool. And actually, it's a great
and
advice, right? Sorry,
and
sorry.
to go, yeah, yes, no problem. And to go after what you want, to maybe need to meditate a little bit to see what you would like to do, what you want, and go for.
Ah, that's cool. Yeah. Perseverance, right? And that's, I think for sure that's the key for everything, especially when we're talking about a uh, traditional Chinese knowledge. Well, Master, thank you so much for your time, for your enthusiasm, for your honesty. Um, we wish you nothing less than the best to both of you, you and Master Barbara, with the school in Madrid, with the dreams, the goals, with everything. It was a huge pleasure to talk to you after like a little while, right?
Thank you, Master, for the invitation for to be together here. Actually, this also was a very interesting experience for me. Almost we can say like a challenge. I said at the beginning, so it's like we're saying, we are always a student. So for me, this is part of my learning to speak in front of the people and to express and to be in a different and not controlled environment. So it was a very nice experience and well, also a learning for me.
Well, I'm glad that you like it. It was definitely a pleasure. I'm sure the people that was watching us in this past hour also for sure enjoyed. And well, guys, thank you very much, Master. Again, thank you. I wish you a not only a great weekend, but also a great and safe return in this period of quarantine. Okay, soon enough. But in the meantime, online classes, guys. All the PaKua schools in the world, we are working with online classes. If you are not practicing, or if you're willing to start practicing, or if you know someone that should be practicing because it's good, or distracting, or mentally, physically healthy, please join us with practices, online practices. And well,
Everyone
I wish
together.
you, yes, for sure. Well, Master, thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you, Master.
And guys, I'll see you next weekend with another PaKua journey. Bye.